Yeah, well, I understand I got a lot on my mind, a lot on my chest. That's why.
What's going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here on Rather Indie Breakdown, the show we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' powers, stats, and abilities and get them ready for the Indie Versus matchup. Today, we have another amazing guest here for the season finale of Season 3 of the Indie Breakdown. I'm going to go ahead and bring him to the stage. He's going to tell us the character he's bringing to the breakdown, a little bit about himself. What's going on, boss?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name's Amik Nikwo, and I am the creator of Vibrant. So about my character, oh man, I don't even know where to start.
Give us a little bit about the inspiration, and then we'll dive into those power, stats, and abilities.
Yeah, actually, so when it came to Vibrant, it was a lot of workshopping, because I had my main idea. I don't know if you remember the character Hotspot from the old animated Teen Titans show. Mm-hmm. So that was him. I was a big fan of firebending and Avatar, and I really wanted somebody who could do that, like basically a black version of that. And then I was a big fan of the old Static Shock show, and seeing that like there's a main character for that's black, and then the sidekick is white. I was like, oh man, this is this is a never in a lifetime thing. This thing, nothing like this will ever be seen again. And unfortunately, it was true. But so all of those combined really inspired that, and then I started really coming up with the story. Mm-hmm. And then I thought I wanted a character in the story to be on the level of Superman type, like strength, vulnerability, all that. So then I thought Fire's not going to be able to do anything to somebody of that caliber. Mm-hmm. So what else could I do that could be similar to Fire and close to it, but more powerful, and be able to, throw hands with somebody like Superman.
Right.
So then I thought about that one episode from the Justice League Unlimited show. Or it might have actually been, I forget if it was Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, where Captain Atom is going against Superman. Mm-hmm. And Captain Atom, despite the fact that he lost, he's throwing hands, he's keeping up, he's holding, and I'm like, okay, energy, that's what I need to do. So I decided to go with energy abilities to be able to, power himself up, be able to give himself flight, and be able to actually charge himself up strong enough to lay a heavy hit on somebody like Superman. So yeah, that was the inspiration. And then the suit, I think, was where it was huge for me to really focus on, because I was like, oh man, what colors do I do? What color energy powers do I do? Blue? Do I do red, orange, yellow? So then I started kind of coming up with the designs. I'll show this here. And I was, oh man, let me see if I can show all of the different versions. I even have it on my Instagram too, but I'll show what I could find. So oh man, this one is just sorry. Okay. So there's this version I came up with, and this is when I was thinking of Fire.
Okay.
See, I had the fire powers in mind, and that I drew awful. Then I thought, okay, let me fix this one too. Then I'm like, you know what? Let's do something where he's a bit more brawly looking. Like, he'll do a bit more melee. Try and make him look like me with the facial hair. So that was another drawing I did.
Nice. Okay.
So then, and then here was another one. Oh man.
I like the process, right? I like the kind of the development along the way. Okay.
Exactly. There was a whole, and then actually here's another smaller one. It's a bit off. So that's where you can kind of see it starting to get a little closer. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, I'm not really liking this. And I'm thinking, like, because of my story, I think masks are a necessity to have. Mm-hmm. Right? There will be a difference between those who don't have them versus those who do.
Okay.
And I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to really go much. But and then I'll show the kind of final stages, which is on my Instagram, of where it all kind of irons out. So here's that one I showed where he was like brawling. That was supposed to, be another one. Mm-hmm. And then here's me coming up with like what colors to use.
Okay.
And then
Was that blue and white just now?
that was blue, gray, and some white because I didn't finish coloring, but blue or teal, I guess. Teal, yellow, gray for that one.
Okay.
And then I'm like, okay, goggles would be cool. So then I'm like, all right, let's try this. And then that I was like, I don't know about all that. And then like here's me coming up with more of like the suit colors and like the powers.
Mm-hmm.
And then so then I came up with this one, and I was like, oh, you know what? Like the design is probably there.
Mess with the colors though.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. And then I you could probably tell like I added the bandana at that part. And the bandana, the reason why I added that was because Raphael, the Ninja Turtle,
Yes,
my favorite one. So then that's
Yeah,
where I was like,
colors.
okay. Yep. So that's where I was like, okay, I think I got it now. And that was my final version that I drew. And I'm like, you can see me still coming up with like the power colors and all that and the palette and all that. And so then I finally found an artist who could actually bring this to life in a much better way. And that's where we ended up at. And so I'm very happy with the final product. And I've actually been following Radiant Black recently, and in one of Kyle Higgins, the creator, one of his interviews, he actually mentioned something that I think is very important. And I saw that interview well after I created the suit or designed the suit myself. But he says that suit design is very, very important for people picking it up or not.
Yeah.
Because like if you're just doing too much, or it's just like people are gonna not want to involve themselves with it or be intrigued at all. But if you have a design where it's like, okay, this looks sick, I want to get into this.
Right.
That's where it's almost like a make it or break it sort of thing when it comes to comics. So
right,
that's where it all stemmed from. That's the inspiration from the powers to the suit. So
okay. Yeah. So with that being said, then tell us about his power set. What all can Vibrant do?
Oh man. Well, currently definitely flight, energy manipulation.
No spoilers. We ain't gonna push no spoilers. Whatever you feel.
No. Flight, super strength, super speed, durability, super durability. I would say for sure. Energy blasts, and this is all just kind of like now, like
right.
Issue 1 at the moment. So we're, these will change. Maybe not change, but there will be more abilities. And yeah, there will be some
okay
abilities. But yeah, currently, so energy blast, energy absorption, and then the ability to target a certain area, like maybe his hands, his feet, whatever, and focus his energy in that one spot, if that makes sense, to deliver a more powerful blow.
Okay, so let's break that down a little bit more then.
All right, let's do it.
Well, let's talk about that energy manipulation. Tell us the upper limits, and is there only particular types of energy he can manipulate, all types of energy, and then of course how much at one time is he able to manipulate?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll admit I haven't really gotten that far into this, but I've thought about it for sure. Let's see. So what was the first thing? How far can it go?
Yeah, how much? Yeah, how much energy? Yeah,
how much?
Yeah.
Okay, how much? Oh man, I mean, I'm no scientist, so that'd be hard to.
So I would say then, sake of conversation, if we're talking about, and I'll, I was going to use like Iron Man's repulsive wave, like Thor's lightning, right? Like, are we talking God levels? Are we talking like something that's kind of, hey, nuclear blast went off, let me take in the energy that's, manipulate the energy that's, emitting from that, or something of that nature, or less?
I would definitely say stronger than, what, actually, I would say, somebody actually said this too when I was explaining and describing Vibrant to them. Somebody new who hadn't even like read the comic or anything, and they were like, "Oh, kind of like Captain Marvel."
Ooh, okay.
So, Captain Marvel side. So I would definitely say Captain Marvel level at this point in time. And of course, there are people who are more well. I mean, he can't go into space yet. or at least survive in it right now without any, enhancements or anything, or technology.
Oh, Bishop. That's who I was going to ask. Like Bishop. There we go.
Okay. Yes.
Jesus.
I would definitely say it's a bit less than like you blast him and then he redirects it.
Mhm.
I would say it's more like he can. I guess I should also add one of his abilities being energy conversion. So he
Okay.
can absorb, right? Because part of the absorption absorbs maybe like electricity in a light pole,
Mhm.
but it doesn't come out as electricity. It will come out as his own energy.
Okay.
So he can do that. In fact, actually, one of the characters I have in there who I've posted, Spoil, who has very strong relation to Vibrant,
Mhm.
does something very, very similar and a bit more unique with the energy conversion. But yeah, so energy conversion, I would definitely say any sort of energy. So if there's heat, possibly, he could absorb that, convert it to his own energy. These are all things he's capable of.
Mhm.
How often he uses these abilities is a different thing, different
Okay.
conversation. But level wise, definitely stronger than Iron Man's repulsor. I feel like that is on a level of just like annoyance, like just to grab
Mm.
someone's attention. For me personally, at least that's how I've seen like Iron Man's repulsor to be. Never really saw it as like something that can put a hole.
Actually does damage,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So I would definitely say um, it is his energy level, like his output.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next question. I'm glad you're already going. Like, is he able to destroy mountains with this energy that he's pulling in? And does he magnify the energy? Not to throw you off with more questions as you're answering one.
Actually, the magnification part that there is that's a bit of a well, it's a bit of a spoiler there.
Okay.
Yeah. That part is a part of the grand story of,
I
of
see.
the Vibrant comic. Um, but that's a good question. If
Okay.
there's there is there yeah there
Fair
there's
enough. So he
potential for amplification, our modification, whatever it is, after
okay.
the absorption portion. But levels wise, I'm having a hard time because he's not like powerful yet.
Mhm.
He could definitely, like, if he were to go up against oh man, maybe like who's hot right now that like everybody.
Invincible.
Okay, all right. Invincible. Well, yeah, all right. Invincible. Invincible is not right now. I guess you're right. Yeah, season 3 Invincible is stronger than I say. I'd say if he were pissed off enough, Vibrant, if he were
Mhm.
pissed off enough, he would be able to hold off season 1 Invincible,
Okay.
but not, but probably get defeated by season 3 Invincible.
Okay. So somewhere right. Okay. Okay.
That's where I would say the level is at. Like it would, um,
And of course, we're just talking about the energy portion right now.
just the
In
energy
regards to-
portion.
Okay.
Just the energy portion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So then, just to make sure and just clarify in regards to the conversion and the manipulation of it, he takes in a blast. Let's say he's insert character. He takes in a blast from them, converts it into his energy. It's not, as far as we know right now, it's not coming back out stronger than. It's just sending that same type back. Now is
Well, I
he?
wouldn't say necessarily he takes the hit. Like if he takes a hit, he's taking the hit. It's not going to be like,
Oh.
it would be more of like physical contact
Oh.
where
Okay.
the absorption would come from, or where
Okay.
the absorption would come into play. It would have to be physical contact, and that is where again the character Spoil I have that she uses that to her advantage, which is why, and it contributes to her name,
Mhm.
to say the least. I'll put it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. So if he's taking a hit, he's taking a hit, but it I mean, I would say his energy manipulation can help with how effective that hit is. I guess
Okay.
at that. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So, with that being said, we're talking about tanking hits and stuff like that. I was going to go super strength first,
All
but
right.
tell me about the durability.
Durability.
How heavy can he? How heavy of an attack can he tank?
So I'll actually, I mean, I guess it's not really a spoiler since I personally released the first issue, but in the beginning, he didn't really show or display his powers. So
Right.
he kind of grew up without any powers. And he took a hit from a character I have called Impact. And Impact, I would say, is more like I'm trying to. I want to say Bishop and Gambit combined, where he takes the kinetic energy that is given to him and then converts it like twofold.
Right.
Output, right? So I would say that's Impact's abilities. And Mark, Jesus, now I'm getting invincible. Sorry, the character's name is Chris. And there's a reason for that. But Chris or Vibrant takes a hit without any powers from Impact and is able to survive for sure. So,
right.
Beat up, survive, and he has no actual powers at that point.
Okay. And so then, sake of conversation, is he? If a grenade is thrown, would he survive that with powers currently issue 1?
Yes. The reason being because there is a portion in the comic where he's actually young and he doesn't have any powers. Now, survive would be like, it would depend on what you mean by survive. But he does live after the fact. There is an explosion that happens in issue 1 where he's at a young age. And he's like right there at the center of the explosion that takes place. And he survives.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily unscathed, right? But
yeah.
Okay. So that is kind of the upper echelons as it stands at the moment.
Yeah, but now, because at the end of the issue, that's when he gets his powers. He gets the actual suit I just showed, the final suit. And I would say at that point, for sure, he can take a grenade.
Okay. And just to verify, grenades at the moment, end of issue 1,
no grenades are actually in the comic or in issue 1, but to that extent, I would say he can. I mean, I would say at the end of issue 1, he can probably hold the grenade in his hands without it really. Like he, cup it and let it do its thing and then
do its thing. So now at that point, we're talking like missiles at this point will probably be the thing that you would have to send, or at least somebody that can hit hard enough to simulate that level of strength or impact.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's revert back to super strength really quick. And of course, by the end of issue 1, how heavy is he lifting and how hard is he hitting?
He's hitting hard enough to create craters. That we definitely see in issue 1. Lifting though, that's a good question. I mean, definitely a bus for sure. I'd say I'd say if you were lifting a tank and then put maybe a car on top, he'd probably start shaking.
Okay.
But I feel like, if you're making craters though, at that point, that's like nothing. So I mean, that's a good question. I guess
it depends on the size of the crater, right?
Yeah. This crater was pretty big. This is maybe I'll give a little sneak peek.
I was gonna say there's a scene in Young Justice, right? Like, I think Robin he was upset about something. He was in the gym.
Oh yeah. It was like he was left out, I think, and he punched the wall. That's
right, and that's like a metal wall or a concrete wall. Just like, sir, what is this?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, okay, wait, are you hitting criminals this hard? You know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah. I would definitely say, oh man, bringing up Young Justice, probably Superboy level.
Okay.
I'm trying to think how heavy he hit. Superboy, yes, no, Superboy was strong, maybe Superboy season 1 strong.
Mm-hmm.
Young Justice Superboy season 1 level strength, because he was hitting, but he wasn't hitting real hard, and
He
it
wasn't
took
keeping him down with them.
yeah. But I mean, he was still like making craters and breaking things, and it took like the patches to like really do some damage. Yeah, so I'd say season 1 maybe level Superboy strength, I guess.
Okay. And so, okay. And with that being said, then if we're talking about leaving some craters and stuff like that, it's safe to say, he could punch down a part. Is him versus an apartment complex. He's knocking it down. Safe to say that.
I'd say at that point, like a whole apartment complex, you would need a bit of the energy portion to back it up. If we're doing a whole apartment complex, yeah.
Okay, noted. So we've talked about strength. We talked about durability. I want to know about speed and agility now, right? With the agility, of course, I'm talking about whether or not he can perceive bullets, dodge, and get out of the way, all that other stuff. And of course, when I'm talking about, just proper speed, how fast or how long would it take him to, say, traverse the planet or traverse the continent, so on and so forth?
The planet would take some time. I mean, if we were to go off of like what he's done for sure in issue 1, as a powerless vigilante, he was taking on thugs and armed guards or whatever you want to call it, who were actively shooting at him, and he didn't a single hit, took him down. So definitely agility wise, I would say it's up there, and that was again without powers. Speed for sure. I mean, in issue 1, he hit somebody up and was able to get right before get up to them like that before they got high enough just to hit him right back down. And so his speed is for sure up there. Definitely not Flash, but like because I have a separate character for that's the speedster, right? Or not a second character, but I have another character that's the speedster in my story. But speed wise,
and of course, I'm not
like
asking for
invincible.
Okay. Sorry. I said no worries. Of course, I'm not asking for like exact numbers or anything of that.
Yeah. But if we were to like compare to or give reference, I'd say like Invincible season 2 speed. No, well, I think if he were to go and focus on flying, I think he'd be able to break the sound barrier at this point in time.
Okay. In issue 1, sound barrier. So Mach 1 essentially.
I would say, yeah.
Okay. And then of course he is able to dodge bullets. Now, as well, and of course we did see how he performed just before unlocking his powers to the fullest or what have you. If I'm to bring up an example that I think we talked briefly offline a little while ago, we talked about Black Bow, and I brought up, we got to see some feats in his story, right? So there's a scene, and gosh, I think I bring this scene up often in regards to diving into the agility or what have you. But he sees there's a protest or something happening. There's some bullets flying. Somebody starts shooting. He sees the bullets. He's a little ways away. He sees the bullets leave the gun. He sees it and has enough time to run down there, get in the way, and then block them in a way that nobody gets hit. So, in regards to Biden's perception, would he be able to, again, he sees the bullets from afar, a couple 100 feet out, right? Sees them from afar, is like, let me get in the way and stop that, and is able to traverse that, and then, of course, block it before it reaches its intended target. Would Biden be able to do something of that nature?
A few 100 feet away? I think so. Okay. I think so. Yeah, I think easily. In fact, I think, I would say he could for sure do that.
Okay, perfect. So, really briefly, we did we did speed, we did agility, we did strength, we did durability. We also talked about the engine manipulation and what have you. I want to know now, and this might be one of the last things here. I want to know about his fighting ability. I know we saw, and forgive me because I know some of the questions I've asked, I'm getting it slightly confused with the card and not what I know I read in the story. So thank you for clarifying. There is a part for anybody that's listening and watching. For everybody that's listening and watching, there's a period where we see him without his powers, and then of course,
yeah.
the climax of the story, we do, he does unlock
He does,
stuff. So we are gonna there are some mixed responses in regards to that, but I believe you trust that you guys are keeping up with that. But I want to know fighting ability. We do know that he did get some training in the beginning.
Yes.
But dive into that a little bit more. How trained is he?
So definitely very well trained. In fact, when he was younger, and that's what from the beginning, his father, right, was like the number one superhero. So he, with that kind of status, there was the obligation to ensure that his children were also trained up, right? And the fact that Chris Vibrant didn't really display his powers at all from the beginning, he had to work that much harder, right? Versus his sister, who showed him right off the bat. But he definitely, he put in work, and when it comes to training in martial arts, hand to hand for sure, he has mastery over. If we were to do like actual disciplines, I put a bit of my own personal experience and life into this character. One of the martial arts I did that I really enjoyed because of the kicks was Taekwondo.
Okay, same.
So Taekwondo, one where you can do everything. Now, what I did, it was called Panjo.
Okay,
right? It's basically MMA. So there's takedowns, there's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's striking, knees, elbows, all of that, with a bit of implementation from other disciplines as well, which is why it's called Panjo, just like MMA. MMA, it is MMA because it's mixed, but there's a bit more to it, which is why it had a specific name. So there's that for sure. Boxing, that was another one I had a lot of fun with. And then I guess all the other ones that are kind of like judo, right? Definitely Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu separately. I'd say he has some mastery over weapons as well, weapon training.
And to your point, he has had to work, and he's no slouch. Like, we get to see that he
has to put in work.
The ringer, yeah. So I suppose it goes without saying that he's definitely at peak human, right? Just about before
getting his powers, yes,
right. And then so just to go back briefly and clarify some of the things. So with that, knowledge going back in hindsight, in regards to speed and agility, we're talking pushing Olympic level or potentially even Olympic level with some of his strength.
I would definitely say
like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm liking more about the character as we're talking about him now is he feels more grounded than.
Yes, that was. Thank you. I'm actually really glad you mentioned that Unprovoked, because that was the feeling I wanted to give it.
Yeah.
Or give Vibrant, because obviously I got the Superman level characters and whatnot, and characters with disability and that ability, but I wanted it to be more grounded because I feel like when it came to main media and superheroes and everything you see in general, it was starting to kind of leave that atmosphere. Like Spider-Man, one thing we didn't really expect to, that was one of the heroes we looked at for being a grounded character, started to feel, more than that. It was he's going into space and doing this and doing that and traversing multiverses and whatnot, and heck, even Invincible, right? He briefly started as grounded, and then it automatically expanded into the whole universe and aliens and whatnot, which I guess it's part of his origin, sure, but still it's off the bat immediately going off to being more than just
larger.
And I wanted to bring that feel again, because I feel like that's one thing that a lot of people enjoy. We like the grounded, I think we like the powerful too, right? Powerful is cool, but I think you want it to make sense, because once it starts going this and that and that and that level, it starts to be like, okay, come on.
Yeah, because then when you try to go backwards, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
hey, they're back in the neighborhood doing this, that, and
Yeah.
the third.
Then it's like, no, this guy just like beat this big old alien that like, you know, can demolish the whole planet or whatever. How does that make any sense for him to, you know, go backwards?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You can't have Spider-Man beat Galactus and then have me worried about Kingpin. Like that's
exactly.
what are we doing at this point?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And so one last thing, and I do briefly want to touch back on the energy manipulation and conversion just briefly. We did say energy projection. Is it only through his hands? Is he able to shoot laser beams? Is it
Yes. So
okay?
laser beams, yes. So I mean, if he wanted to like, you know, shoot a little laser through the finger, he could do that too.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's I mean, I would say through the feet as well, but that would be more for flight.
Okay.
I mean, it could be used in combat, but that would be he uses it mainly for flight. But yeah, there's the laser vision through his eyes, the you know, fingers, hands. So
Okay. So I think that covers just about everything. We talked about creators. We talked about the fact that his super strength is he'll probably have to add some energy to try to destroy an entire apartment complex.
at this point in time, yes.
Right. By issue 1, it's very much possible. Just needs to add that little bit of extra energy. Speed, we talked about. He's at Mach 1. He's able to perceive bullets.
Yeah.
Get in the way of them or what have you.
Sure.
What else did we say? The energy. Did we confirm how heavy the energy was in regards to? We made comparisons to other shows.
Yeah.
To reel that back in though, in regards to that, let's say he shoots. You know, he's shooting energy at a mountain. Is the mountain getting decimated or just a portion?
Not decimated, but there's definitely going to be some damage to it. Like I mean, if we're in the snow, it's definitely causing an avalanche.
Okay.
Right.
So he'll just kind of carve a piece out, but it's not gonna.
It'll be if he's continuously like if he's shooting it at the mountain for quite some time, then I think he'll get through and it'll destroy it maybe. But I think it'll take some time for it to get to that point. Like if he's shooting his his energy blast at the mountain and it's like and he's going maybe 10, 15 minutes, he'll get close to maybe, shooting that thing through all the way to the mountain. But if it's just like the initial 10, 15 seconds, then it'll just, big old
kind of like a shockwave right quick. It'll shake it a little bit, but okay. I really do like this grounded thing because, we see it plenty, right? And this is no shame to anybody, anything like that, but man, out the gate, you talk about Master Roshi is blowing up the moon and trapping the ball. It's like, well, anything else on Earth, bro, I'm not worried. The Red Ribbon Army, boy, if you all just go over there and shoot a command man wave and destroy them, get out of here. I'm really not worried about anything on Earth right now. So it's refreshing to see that there is so much room for growth because to your point, Spider-Man, he's up there, with the multiverse and stuff like that, and just a lot of these shows. And I'm not going to stay long on this. I could write a dissertation on Dragon Ball.
Me too, trust me.
But I think that's where there's this lack of effectiveness and stuff like Dragon Ball Super. People love it. It's fine. Dragon Ball is Dragon Ball. It's going to live forever, right? But there's this lack of effectiveness when you introduce us to the gods of destruction, the angels and stuff, and then you want to sell me on Frieza's back. You just
this
out of destruction in the last movie. That's the problem. Exactly. That's the goalpost. And so there's this lack of effectiveness where you keep running into power creep. You keep running into that, and you got to try to keep finding these new ways. Should be finding new ways to sort of innovate and give us some new avenues to overcome, but they don't. Right, because they've written themselves, in my opinion, in a sort of corner. And so, again, anyway, all that to revert back and say, I do like where your character's starting to where it's like, hey, I don't have any powers, but I'm still trained. I'm still get out there. I'm still be a hero to unlocking it. And so now it's like I have all this training on a base level, but now I do need to still learn how to utilize my abilities. What are all the abilities I can do? How do I make sure I don't hurt somebody? There's a whole new training arc that you have the opportunity to go through with this character as he goes through understanding himself in the greater world that's coming for him. Like it's brilliant. So
I do want to also point out too that Vibrant does technically have another power set.
Okay.
Yeah. I might have actually posted it already. So if I posted it on my Instagram and it's already public, then I'll delve into it a little bit. I'll go into deeper and explain, but and elaborate. But if I didn't, it's going to be on the down low. Oh, I guess I did. Okay. Whoa, I didn't realize I did make it public. So it's on my Instagram. So so actually he does have one more ability called Supercharge.
Okay.
Now he hasn't displayed this ability in issue 1 yet.
Okay.
And it's the background and history and origin of it is a bit of a spoiler. I mean, it's actually shown technically in issue 1, but it'll be elaborated in hopefully issue 2, issue 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so Supercharge, he basically has the ability to supercharge himself, whether it's base level and he's not using any extra abilities, or it's his actual abilities he's supercharging as well. He can focus it on one limb. So if he wants to, like, say we're talking Invincible season 3, that I mean, I think it's been enough time for people to let's say a headbutt. We'll just say if Vibrant is headbutting at somebody and he's using his supercharge ability, that regular headbutt will become a massively powerful headbutt.
Okay.
Now that's not to say that he can use this ability off the bat, but Supercharge is a power that his second power he has that can definitely do some damage.
So we're talking like an almost multiplier to his abilities then.
Yes.
Are we talking like a 2 times, 5 times, 10 times to the base strength that you've already kind of explained, or is it a quantifiable number yet?
There's no quantifiable number yet. It's almost limitless at this point. However, he's not yet gotten to the point where it can seem that way, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
I get that, because as he gets stronger, right? Obviously, whatever that multiplier is increases along with it.
So I think and it kind of actually gave me a bit of inspiration for it when I was coming up with it. But think of My Hero.
Yeah.
Deku using the One for All, and he uses it 10%, 15%, 45%, all the way up to like 100%, right? But that amplifies him basically, and all of his other abilities too, like the most recent season, or if you're a manga reader, you know how much further it goes. But like in the most recent season we just got of the actual anime, he has all of his other abilities from the other users, right? But then the overall One for All he uses amplifies it if he's like, okay, I'm using gear shift 15%, you know what I mean, right? So like that.
Okay.
That would be his supercharging.
All right, so we got supercharged energy. Okay.
Totally forgot about that because I was focused on the energy part, but the supercharge does come into play a bit later, and we'll, if you want to get into the comic, which I hope you guys do, and Kickstarter will be coming up real soon on under Wiseacre Comics, if any of you guys know that publishing, but it's going to get big when it comes to Vibrant.
Okay. So speaking of that, then go ahead and let the folks know, because we're about to close up here. Let the folks know where they can, of course, pick Vibrant up, how they can support you, and of course, if you have a Kickstarter coming up, go ahead and let the people know about that as well.
Definitely. So Vibrant, I independently released Vibrant myself. Self-published it quite some time ago, late last year, and you can find the original copy, the original version, both digital and physical, on my website, vibrantcomics.bigcartel.com. Or if you want to just follow me on social media in the meantime and look for the Kickstarter info, that will be coming up. You can follow me on Instagram at vibrant_comic. And that's where you'll find all of my character designs, and I got some background breakdowns I'm doing on some of these characters. So you can find my digital copies there. But and also actually big thing here is you can go to Global Comics and look at the first 6-page preview under Wiseacre Comics. Let me pull that up so I have the right. Yeah, so if you look up Wiseacre Comics on Global Comics, that's GLOBALCOMIX. Look up Wiseacre Comics, find Vibrant, and it is the first, I think, first 7 pages or so to preview. And it's, I mean, this isn't even the final version. It's going to be going through a bit more. It's going through some facelifts, to say the least.
Okay.
So the original version that you can find on the Big Cartel website will look a hell of a lot more different than.
Oh, I see the difference. Yeah, I see the lettering.
Yeah, lettering, and that even itself will be getting another facelift. So stay tuned. That's why I'm not trying to push the my own personal release one just yet, because I want everybody to see a more polished and less amateur like version of the comic. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, thank you so much. This has been amazing. This has been amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anybody that's and congratulations, by the way, getting done with Wiseacre, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, that was big. Yeah, they're really good there, and I mean the creators there. I'm like, oh man, I'm all of these creators are at this level. I'm down here. It feels like, and so in fact, actually, wanted to I'll plug him real quick if you don't mind. Wiseacre Comics, his direct comic book will be going up on Kickstarter. In fact, you can actually go follow it now. Magnus Jakarta, I believe it's issue 6 this week. So yeah,
I think I saw a post about that on Facebook the other day.
Yeah, I'd say go follow, get him up. We're pretty close to getting 100 followers, I think. If y'all could go follow that, get ready, go support. That would be perfect. Because then that means if you guys support him, mine is coming right up after on Kickstarter. So show him support. I'd love the support as well. So yeah, appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Hey, thank you. Yeah, definitely gonna be keeping up with that because like I said offline when we were talking, just when I saw that character, I said, we got to open the database back up. I need to know more.
I appreciate that you did. Yeah, I liked seeing him on the little card you guys had. That was if I could have that printed out on the actual cardboard material. I'm gonna do that.
And that is for y'all to do as well. Like that is
definitely
take it. Yeah. And it'll be we'll break that down in the group a little bit more as well. But anybody that's watching, we do have an official website for the Indie Breakdown now.
Yeah.
Big step up since season 1, right? But we do have a website where not only will you be able to check out the interviews like this one and the breakdowns, but you'll also be able to check out the database that we're building from not only the folks that have been on the show, but of course the folks that we've met along the way in the Facebook group. And so, for everybody that's in the database, those cards, like, print them out, show them all. Like that's
have to do something with that. Yeah.
We're also building out a gallery on there. So some of those random images that you've seen of some of the characters teamed up, the artwork we've been getting done through our artist Gabriel Nisi. Everybody that's involved in those images, print them out and sell them at a convention. That's yours. That's show them off, right? Ideally, and again, this is more group stuff. Still trying to figure out how we would implement it in the on the official show. But the idea is that we also get short stories done for these. So much like how I type out the scenarios for the show, we've done the events and stuff like that in there. And I've reached out to several folks, and I've written out the script for the Incendiaries Rampage event that we did a couple weeks back.
Okay,
and so ideally we make a quick 7-page something, and that's not just for me to print out, that's for everybody involved. Hey, take that to a convention. It's another showcase of your character. But again, the importance of this show and this entire group that I've created was to get more visibility for each other. Because that's when we asked around, and again, anybody that's listening or watching right now, you kind of heard us go through the spill before, but when we asked in the past, just everybody in general, mostly as Midnight Comics, when we was asking this, what's the one thing besides financing, right, that you need that's missing? And overwhelmingly, it is visibility.
Yeah.
Right? So why not create a platform so that other creators can get that visibility, right? And so yeah, that was the creation of the group, right? And so what we decided to do, of course, on the Facebook group, we partnered with Lonzo with Concrete, and me, him, and Tasha, of course, the other half of Midnight Comics here. We're like, let's try our best to use our platforms to elevate this one, get more people in here so that our audience can now see other folks' stories. And then as we do these matchups, because initially it was a voting mechanism that we did a fan vote. I said, invite your fans, invite your family, invite your friends to vote for your character. But now as they're doing that, they're also seeing everybody else's characters and say, ooh, what's that?
Yeah.
So now it's just this, it's starting to live on its own, and I'm very excited so that people again they're just in there talking, man. Hopebreaker came in and showed out, man. Atridian came in and showed out. He had 4 matches. He's undefeated right now in the group. He did those 4 matches. He did a Kickstarter not too long after that. I'm pretty sure it funded the same day. Right. And so again, it's that visibility, it's that camaraderie that we're seeing. That's the very essence of this group. So I'm very proud of what's happening with it, and I'm definitely looking forward to continuing to evolve it. So yeah. Anyway, shameless plug of the group.
I think it's great. I think what you guys are doing is awesome, and bringing attention to these indie characters is huge. Huge, because I think these big guys are getting. I mean, not that they suck or anything, but I think they're still getting all the attention, and it's like. It as we can see now, Invincible, The Boys. It's possible for indies to get their shine.
Yes.
But I think it's really important for the characters of color, right, to definitely get their shine as well. And that's what I've been seeing a lot of. I mean, obviously, there are the different people and whatnot in the group, but seeing a lot of characters of color being represented, I think is huge. And so I appreciate that you guys are doing that. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. Absolutely our pleasure. So as we close out, everybody that's listening, thank you, of course, and watching, of course, thank you all for tuning in. Be on the lookout. Midnight Comics side of things, the Gray Kickstarter will be going up within the next couple of weeks. It should be starting April 4th. So be on the lookout. It's the 3rd issue in the series. If you didn't get a chance to get issue 2, because that was a straight to website, that is also available on there as well. So be on the lookout for the Gray issues 1 through 3 on Kickstarter. It's in pre-launch. So definitely check that out. If you have not joined our mailing list, midnightcomics.org, you will get a free copy of issue 1 of Soul, of course, digital. So definitely head on over there. And then what else? Of course, we're talking about Indie Breakdown. This is the show for it. Visit indiebreakdown.com so you can check out not only this interview if you're already watching it there, but also all the previous interviews, because this is the season 3 finale. So you got a lot to catch up on if you haven't had the opportunity as well. And as we brought up earlier, definitely check out the database with all the amazing characters that are there. Anyway, let me not hit my rambling face. Thank you all for tuning in. And of course, remember, until next time, midnight is coming. And thank you for joining us as we continue to redefine power scaling for the indie world. And then it did not hit stop recording when I pushed the button, but that's okay. Now it's doing it. There we go.
Yeah.